We had queues of people all day long for every single day, people tasting, coming back going, we got an idea. We want an almond, apple, and blueberry. Please make it for us, you know? So we literally just had that, and I was like, I turned around to Karen. I'm like, we are on to something here.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Boardroom Conversations, the WATPROP business podcast. Today we have a very exciting guest. His name is Denis Vaden. He's the CEO of Slayer Energy. We hope you enjoy this next episode. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Justin Watkins. Just a quick one, before this episode begins, please like, share and subscribe. We're on YouTube and Spotify. Please follow us to keep up to date with the latest episodes. Denis, firstly, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I know you're super busy building a global energy drink brand, so I do appreciate your time.
Thank you, appreciate it.
So before we jump into the Slayer Energy story and obviously how you built the business, how you are building the business, I'd love to just share more about kind of anecdotally your entrepreneurial journey building up to starting Slayer Energy and those early influences that really shaped you in terms of your entrepreneurial journey and mindset.
Sure, no problems. So I started working at 13, 6 days a week, weirdly enough, just up the road from where you are here at a restaurant called Plaka, which is now Parea. So that was 6 days a week. My dad was bankrupt at that stage, and I was helping support the family, literally was the story. And still went to school, went to good school, went to KES, but maintained working. It was 5-6 days a week. Managed over that period of time to learn a lot about the industry, like the restaurant sort of industry, HoReCa trade for want of a better word. My brother came out of the army after like 6 years in permanent force, and he found a steers for sale in Randburg. I was 17 and a half. I think he was 26, 27 at that stage. The store was for sale for 250,000 Rand. It was losing 5 grand a month, and there was 50 grand to be able to buy the store, literally. So my butt went to the owner of the store and said, I'll give you 50,000 Rand now, and we'll pay you 5,000 Rand a month. If we miss one payment, you take your store back and you keep the 50 grand. It was losing 5,000 Rand a month. So as of day one, you're losing 10 grand a month. In 94, that's probably the equivalent of 70, 80, 100 grand a month now. So it was a big number, to be clear. And long story short, we turned that business around in months, was the story. It was quite simple. It's the old Amazon situation, focus on your customer. That's all we did, just focus. I was the cashier, my butt was the cashier. We ran the business like literally we were hands-on daily. Sold that, bought a steers in the corner of Point and West Street, middle of town, Durban. Second busiest steers in the country. There were no keys when we bought that shop. It was a 24-hour shop. We bought it without keys. We sold it without keys. It was Nigerians, it was drug lords, it was prostitutes, it was sailors, it was in the middle of town in Durban. It was all the guys that would come from the nightclubs afterwards at 3 o'clock in the morning, drunk as anything. But it was the second busiest steers in the country. Wow. I literally lived on vitamin B injections, Diet Cokes, and cigarettes at that stage. It was the only thing that could keep me alive. I was doing 12, 14, 16-hour days consistently at different times. So through the night, through the day, through whatever. So you could never get into a routine. We did really well there. The short part of it afterwards is I was in double-decker buses. I started doing party buses in Natal. Then I would start buying and selling buses. Well, weirdly enough, I sold a bus to Play Energy Drink, which is one of our competitors now. I was 21 selling double-decker buses. No one buys double-decker buses. There were no emails. You know, the internet was like, didn't even exist in those days. You were literally going cold calling telephone calls. I'd be like, hi, SAB, the receptionist. Please could I speak to someone about buying a double-decker bus? She wouldn't even know where to refer me. She'd be like, okay, let me put you in touch with the marketing department. See, whenever anything couldn't be answered, you like put them through to the marketing department. Wow. Managed to sell 5 buses. Play, SAB, Gold Circle Racing, bunch of guys. Used to buy them, fix them. They'd cost me like 70, 80,000 Rand, and I'd sell them for like 300,000 Rand in those days. So it was quite a thing, for a 21-year-old learning how to do this. I had a guy that would hand sketch the buses to show what they would look like with branding on them.
Wow.
No design, hand sketched type scenario. And the hand sketching looked way better than any design tool in those days.
Maybe you should employ that guy to do some designs on your drinks.
He was amazing.
Wow.
I don't even know where he is now. He was quite a lot older than me at that stage, so I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he was awesome. In between that, had a coffee shop in the Lucia Mall, got a soap shop in Gateway. I was chairman of the tenant committee of both at the age of like 22, 23. It was a very interesting time. Sold the coffee shop, bought a furniture factory. We would make furniture in top-end houses like Zimbali, Mentone Road, like really, really high-end furniture. We could charge like 100,000 Rand for a table in those days, but still make no money because we had a guy, like an Italian oak, that would hand-carve this stuff in the corner. So it could take you 2 years to finish a dining room table. Lost everything. Everything, age of 28. Jointly and severably liable, 2 bar in debt. It was a very interesting experience, was the story. I was given shares in a nightclub called Tiger by the operator at that stage, an owner. Said, come to Joburg, you take a small equity in this club, I'll write the checks, you run it. I managed to pay all the debts off, no sequestration, nothing, of the furniture factory through the nightclub in about 2 years was the story, and started my coffee business 20 years ago with 20 grand, spare room of my house, 2 boxes of coffee. Mate walks in, goes, what the hell are you doing here? Knowing me from nightclubs, I was the most popular oak in Joburg. Tiger, Rivonia, there was no more popular guy at that stage. And then I've left, and now I'm sitting in the spare room in my house with 2 boxes of coffee and a laptop, telling him that I've started a coffee business. So he was laughing at me. He was literally like, you're a moron, was the exact answer. And the way I learned how to sell coffee was I would go from one customer to another, and the first customer would be like, your coffee tastes like dark chocolate. Like, go to the next customer, I'd be like, do you know my coffee tastes like dark chocolate? And that guy would say, well, like, you got a really good crema. And then I'd go to the next guy and be like, my coffee tasted like dark chocolate. You taste that, and you see that it's got a really good crema. That's how I learned to sell coffee. And luckily, the internet did exist in those days, so YouTube was a thing, and you could do research. Wow. So I learned everything about coffee over that period. Fast forward 20 years, almost lost everything over COVID. Should have lost everything over COVID, to be fair. It was a dog show. There were no events in the coffee business, which was 30% of our trade. There was no corporates buying. Everyone was closed, 30% of our trade, and no restaurants, which was the other 30% of our trade. So it was zero. We had coffee shops. We closed our own shops. It was really like that. Got involved in a software development company just to help these guys out. They wouldn't let me go. That my partner, Karen, my life partner and my partner, she's run the coffee business since then, in principle. And it got a little bit iffy in the software development company with the partners. And that's when Slayer was born. I was upset. I wasn't in a good space. I was irritated with the people I was working with all the time. And Karen was like, you really need to get out of here. I'm like, no, we need the money. We need the money I'm earning, and what you're doing out of the coffee is how we live, right? And that was the beginning of Slayer. And in the meantime, there's probably been about 15 or 20 businesses that I haven't thought of in that time, and that's no jokes.
So obviously you're at this like tipping point, you're at this crossroad before starting Slayer Energy.
Yeah.
So where does the name come from, firstly?
So it's all about slaying the bull, slaying the monster, slaying the dragon. Okay. Like, that's literally like the typical term of the word slayer is to slay the beast, right? Okay. We're not allowed to do it in South Africa because that's competitive advertising, but I can do it in America and I can do it in the UK. So at some stage we can have a lot of fun in being able to do this. So that's where the name has come from. And then obviously the term slay, in terms of the youngsters nowadays, they use the word slay quite often. Exactly. So, but I can tell you, I still have the list on my phone, but I will not show it to you. I probably have 2,000 names more. Like for 3 months, I literally, everything that came out of my mouth would be, that's a good name for an energy drink, love. And she'd be like, what, Moron's Energy? No, it doesn't make sense. And we'd be like, that's a good name for an energy drink. And that is all that came out of my mouth for 3 months, literally. From Three Wise Chimps Brewing Company to Demigod to, like, you have no idea the amount of stuff. I have names coming out of my ears. Eh?
So obviously now you've got the name, you finalized the name. What was the beginning? What is the start of it all? I mean, how did it all begin?
I think there's 2 main purposes of me having started Slayer. I did promise I wouldn't swear, but I'm going to swear once. It was to do whatever I wanted to do. First founding principle of Slayer as a business is me being able to do whatever the hell I want to do. And I've made that clear. My partners know that. Everyone knows that. It's about me having some fun and building an absolute beast. 2, testing all the marketing assumptions. Why does your font have to be the same? Why does the color have to be the same? Why does your logo even have to be the same all the time? So we've really I'm building personally, and we're building a brand with multiple personality disorder. No one builds a brand with multiple personality disorder. You're always like, consistency is key. This is how we do things. I'm doing it, 1, to have fun, 2, to test marketing assumptions. And along the way, that was the founding principle of how I was going to build this brand and what we were going to do to be able to build it. We've just resonated so much with communities and different communities that it's become so much more than just testing a marketing assumption. We've now become like an example to these youngsters of being a little bit punk, being a little bit irreverent, but also highly motivational, going, if I can do whatever the hell I want to do, and I can do it with perseverance, so can you. Anyone can do it. It's just a matter of sticking to things longer than everyone else giving up. So it's become a lot more than just an energy drink for me now, to be clear. It's literally become, like, if you knew the emails we get, the inbox messages we get from diabetics going, you've got the best tasting drink we've ever had. From individuals, I had my birthday 2 days ago. You have no idea. I call it a cult following. The messages that I get of, you're an inspiration, the business is an inspiration, you've done this, you've changed my life by being an example. That is quite a thing, and I take that very seriously. I take few things in my life very seriously because I like having fun. You've probably noticed in the way that I am, right? Sure. But I take that very seriously. That's massive responsibility, and what that means with Slayer is I need to make sure that this thing does what I said it's going to do on the box, and it becomes a global brand. I'm not doing it for me. Doing part of it for me. I'm a capitalist. I want to make money, of course. But the rest of it is to be able to prove to these youngsters, kids and adults, that if you outwit, outlast, and outplay, you'll beat everyone.
Starting an energy drink company is difficult regardless of country. So I mean, when you look at starting an energy drink company, how did it all begin in terms of that first flavor? What flavor did you finally decide on? How did you initially launch? I mean, obviously, there's so many dynamics at play when you're starting a company like that. I mean, obviously, designs, branding, what the cups, obviously, what the can's going to look like. I mean, all those.
I'll give you some of the stuff, right? We saw a company in the States that would mix and match energy drinks. They'd take a can, they put it into a takeaway cup, and they would mix and match the flavors. They'd go, we can put in a banana, lime, bubblegum, and lemon, and we'll call it Hulk Smash twice, you know? And their whole beverage menu, which was hundreds of drinks, was around mixing and matching different flavors. So my original idea was create a flavor neutral base, which was an energy drink base with everything inside it, be able to pull it out of a draft tap, and pour it into takeaway cups, and then mix and match syrups to create different flavors. So that was the original idea, and I actually built it for Rocco Mamas, but they've been so difficult to try get hold of. I say I built it for them. I built it with them in mind, going, I can picture a draft machine on their counter with the most amazing Slayer branded takeaway cups, and we could create the best beverage menu on the planet because you can mix and match it on the fly, right? So that's how we started. Went to Comic-Con, which is our target market, our people, what I call the nerds, the geeks, the misfits, my people, you know, the fantasy freaks, the cosplayers, the gamers, the, you know, like those individuals, the DC fanatics, the Marvel fanatics. And we went to the draft machine and our syrups, which we had formulated with a partner at that stage. Our recipe, you know, in terms of what it looks like. We had a sugar tap and a sugar-free tap of a neutral base. And then we had sugar syrups and sugar-free syrups. And we'd let people come to us and we'd be like, well, what flavor do you like? I don't know, I like a banana flavor. Be like, okay, well, why don't we try a banana, kiwi, lime, and grapefruit? Let's see how it tastes. Wow. And we'd throw it together quickly, give it to the person. If it tasted amazing, we'd put it into a jug, we'd give it to more people. Wow. And if all of them said it was amazing, then we have a back catalog of flavor. So no focus group, 20 middle-aged white guys sitting around a table going, oh, it's pear and banana, that's our flavor, guys. And all of them tasting stuff that they have no idea how to taste, and then launching a flavor. Their flavor house going, do it like this. The flavor house has been doing it for 30 years. You think they're going to come up with new ideas? They keep on doing the same cuck. So we get it straight from our consumer. Also, I've been tasting coffee for 20 years. If you can taste coffee, you know, it's double the flavor wheel of wine, just to be clear in terms of what it is. So my palate it's been refined over 20 years of coffee tasting. Karen's palate is unbelievable. I mean, she's also comes up with the weirdest, craziest ideas. Peach, coconut, and vanilla, palm peach. No one puts that in a can, you know. We were the first. Now we have good friends called Dragon copying us. Literally came out 2-3 days ago, launched peach, coconut, vanilla in a can. It's their modus operandi. They literally copy everyone. That's their jaw. I find it very flattering because that was Karen's idea. I was like, are you crazy? We're not putting peach, coconut, and vanilla in a can. People love it. So that was the first port of call. And then sugar to sugar-free was the story. People voted. They chose sugar-free. So we launched our product as sugar-free. We've never made a sugar version. We literally got the stuff from the people, from the community. In terms of the artwork on the cans, we get local artists. They submit their art in competitions and or via our inbox. And we choose what art we put on a can. We pay them, we give them a year's worth of Slayer for free. We put their signature on the can. We credit them with the artwork, but we make it clear that we own the artwork. It's not a royalty situation. It's because all the artists that we've dealt with are small. They never would have got this exposure and they never would have been on a can of an energy drink in their lives. So if they're clever, they can use it as part of their portfolio, as part of their selling point to be able to get more work in the future. But still, the decision making of putting what artwork on the can is critical. It's all well and good that you get a funnel or a pipeline of art coming to you. You've curated your taste around what your office looks like, right? This is you curated, or dad and you curated in a space of what your office looks like. That's what Slayer Energy is. It's a curation of mine predominantly. It's just the way it is, and I've made that clear. And Karen's taste. Wow. The artwork, the flavors, nothing gets past us unless we say, that's how it works. So that was the beginning of how we started it.
Was there a moment that you kind of saw, once you had a couple of flavors out there and you saw your customers really enjoying it, was there a moment where you thought, wow, this thing really has legs, it really can get a lot of traction?
Comic-Con was it. It was unbelievable. We had queues because we had done a little bit of a teaser campaign to go that we were there on Instagram. And I have never seen people react like this to any product I've ever done. We had queues of people all day long for every single day, people tasting, coming back, going, we got an idea. We want an almond, apple, and blueberry. Please make it for us, you know? So we literally just had that. And I turned around to Karen. I'm like, we are on to something here. Just the engagement of how people were doing. It wasn't the usual, oh, look, we've made 2 flavors, we put them in a can, we've done 1 million cans of it, you know, come taste our cans with good-looking models that are in very tight clothing. You know, the usual energy drink launch. We didn't do it like that at all. That was the moment. Comic-Con was, before that, we had huge traction on Instagram, but Comic-Con was the moment we were like,
what year was that in?
2022, so 2022, huh?
Okay, so you realized that there was a breakthrough moment. So obviously you had a lot of interest from Comic-Con.
Yeah.
What from there? How did it progress from there? You realize, okay, we've got something here. How did the brand progress from there?
We launched direct to consumer, and we launched with a subscription box. So we would send a box on a monthly basis to people, and we would actually almost every month, but it sort of worked out to like 9 of the 12 months, we'd launch a new flavor. So we'd ship a new flavor to you, we'd get new artwork, we'd get your feedback, you'd go like, yes, I do love bubblegum and raspberry, it's amazing, and I love the artwork on the can, and we'd get live feedback, not only from the events that we've been to. I promised my partner at that stage, no, we're not doing retail, Jonathan, we're not going into retail, we're going to launch in the HoReCa trade, quick service restaurants. We chatted to Wimpy from even before I had started, 600 outlets. Like I can tell you, I did tastings, this, that, da. Like all I wanted to do was either get our draft taps or a base neutral can into Wimpy with 6 or 7 flavors that they could mix and match their stuff. They would have been the first in the country. The problem with large groups like this is they don't take risks. They are born with entrepreneurial spirit, and then eventually that's beaten out of them and they don't take risks. So we didn't go with Wimpy eventually because they were like, no, it's just won't work for us in principle. So what happened is, all of a sudden we saw that the cans, the actual printed cans, or meaning the artwork on the can was getting traction. And we're like, okay, well, let's try it in a little car wash here, and little place over there, like an independent and a supplement store. And everywhere we put it into, it sold. We did nothing, and it sold. And it was premium price point, so not cheap. We didn't play with the old cheapos that play at the 10 Rand mark with a cuck product. We play at like Monster Red Bull level, 1 in terms of our quality and 2 in terms of our price point and the way that it is. So we're selling. We're like, okay, that's pretty cool. This is really working out. All the while building a cult-like following on Instagram particularly of people that are ambassadors of this brand. I mean, to a level where we've had 40 of them tattoo our logo to their bodies. We didn't ask them to do it. They've done it, and it's the beginning. We're going to have thousands of people with Slayer tattooed to their body. I can tell you this because of what we've built with the authenticity. So that's where we started in experimenting into retail. We then did a soft launch into like 4 food lovers markets, sold out. And we're like, okay, so this is interesting. With no marketing, hey, no FSUs, freestanding units, no liquid to lips, people doing, just give us some space on the shelf and we sell. That's quite weird. Wow, yeah. Doesn't normally work that way.
It's very unique, yeah.
You know? And come April, there was a distribution company that I'd been trying to get for over a year. I kept on phoning this guy. I'm like, Roy, you need to stock us. He's like, never, not another energy drink. Not after Hype, not after Bang, not after this. They kept on throwing these names at me of all these energy drinks that they were stuffed and left with money. I'm like, you have to do this. Eventually, he was like, okay, send me a pallet of each flavor. Like I think, like it literally was like that was the story. And then we started in April 2024 into actual retail. And we still, let me be clear, we're minuscule. We're a flea on a fly on a gnat on a flea on a fly in terms of size of the competitors. But we're growing and we're growing so quickly. I think we're now in about 600 outlets. I think we'll be in about 2,000 outlets in the next 6 months to 1 year, depending on how quickly we do it. We're rolling out into Spa aggressively. We do really well in Spa, so we want as many as we can. We've had the international buyer of Pick and Pay sends an email to go, sorry, could you put us in touch with your distributor in South Africa, or can we import directly? I was like, we're South African. We make it here. We own the recipe. It's us. So we're looking forward into really good, I want to launch into Pick and Pay, particularly the family and the franchise stores. I mean, there's 700 of them around the country. This now is the year of growth. We're getting some funding into the business because it's required. Like, we've hit our cap of what we can do with our funding level and what it looks like. So we're going to be bringing in some really cool partners that are going to help us grow to the next level without relinquishing control. Really making sure that this is still a business based on the community, on the fun. There's the serious side, the numbers. Of course, I love numbers. It's ingrained in me, right? That's sort of where we are now.
Wow, incredible. So in terms of a strategy going forward, you've mentioned how you want to get into, you're rolling out into spas, you're rolling out into Pick and Pays. You mentioned something earlier about not allowing the brand to get stagnant in terms of its creativity.
Yeah.
How do you protect that?
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. One, we need Denis to continue having fun. If you're an investor and you're putting money in my business, it's in your and my best interest for me to continue having fun. People don't talk about fun. They're like, we're serious, man. It's numbers, it's this, it's that, it's reports. We have to, at our core of our business, maintain fun. Couple of things. One of our mission statements, always exceed expectations. Always. It's my founding principle within the business. If I'm going to send you an email, or one of my team's going to send you an email, we need to figure out how that email can be weirder or more different. We have to figure out how we do that in the way that we communicate with our people. We have to do that in the way that we brand our cars. Always exceed expectations. And then the other thing, which I coined from, I think it was Liquid Death that originally did it. It's, what's the stupidest thing that we can possibly do? That's how we start brainstorming. We go, what's the stupidest thing we can do, guys? We're going to do naked gorillas throwing bananas off the roof for our new banana flavor with people catching them at the bottom. Be like, okay, that's cuck. But why don't we consider it like this? So we normally attack the problem not from the same way that a board sits and goes, what are our competitors doing? What does the data say? What is the analytics? And how are we going to do it in the best possible way? We're like, what's the stupidest thing we can possibly do? How do we do this like a bunch of idiots? And you know what happens? That's where we start our brainstorming. And where it finishes, we have an amazing solution that isn't the stupidest thing we can possibly do. It often is attacking from a different angle. I think the community is going to keep me very accountable, is the word I'm looking for, in terms of not losing our vibe, our fun, all the rest of it. And I am accountable to the community. And I also want to be clear, we're actually not an energy drink business. An energy drink is how we make our money. We're actually a marketing company. Let me be clear. You've probably heard the term the business within the business. You've got to be good at something, really good at something within your business for all the rest of it to be amazing. We just need to be amazing at brand building and marketing. So I'm always going to hire people smarter than me, more creative than me. I'm going to push them. My team knows. If you've come in and you are here, by the time you leave, you're going to be God level mode. And I am always going to push you. I don't care if you've gotten to international level. I'm still going to sit with you and I'm going to be like, how can we be better? How can you be better? So I'm not worried about us losing our spark. Unless we sell out to a really large corporate. Might happen at some stage, but even then, it's really up to me to be like, okay, Pepsi, you've bought 17.5% of the business, like Coke did of Monster, but you need to let us run to our own devices. Because if we do what you do with all your other brands, it's just going to become a copy-paste of everything else. Let us be the craft beer of energy in terms of what it looks like. And you give us the amazing stuff which looks like distribution, which looks like more outlets, like that type of stuff. So the short answer is going to be me. I'm going to have to hold us really accountable to not losing the fun and the creativity.
Yeah, it's so interesting because when you look at, I wouldn't say your competitors, because the way you operate, it seems like you don't like to have any competitors because you're kind of playing on a different field. Yes. But I mean, even when you look at your competitors, there's a sense in which the culture runs through into the product.
Yeah.
So it's preserving that in a way that you don't lose that quirkiness that all your cans and your flavors have. It's almost seeing how they operate and being like, okay, we're just going to operate in the completely opposite direction in a sense.
100%. And I actually don't care what they're doing. Like what they do means nothing to me. I concentrate on my business. I don't copy people, a la our friend Dragon, you know. Yeah. You're not going to see me copying stuff. I'm going to always be, and I say I, it's we, but I'm talking about I in this situation. I'm always going to be first, always unique, always different, always challenging. I know every single one of my competitors has stalked me within an inch of my existence on LinkedIn, has my cans all over their tables at their offices. We've had offers already of competitors wanting to buy us out for an obscene amount of money that I could retire on now. Like I literally could retire on that amount of money. But we haven't even, like I haven't even started revving the engine, to be clear. Like I'm still in the garage. The garage door has not opened and I don't even know if I've turned the key yet. I'll be honest with you in terms of where we want to be. With competitors, I have huge respect for our competitors too. It's not like I poo-poo them. Red Bull has an unbelievable business. Monster has an unbelievable business. At some stage, they're probably going to give us offers to buy us. Like I'm telling you, it's going to be that way, you know? And I'll look at it seriously when that happens. I'm not going to be an idiot. We'll decide how we go about it. But for Slayer, we're always going to concentrate on Slayer. That's the jaw. I feel like I've trained my whole life for this. I know that sounds cheesy. It's not cheesy. I've been in 20 years of coffee business that has been Vietnam, to be clear, around how difficult that business is. Everyone was like, the energy drink business is going to be so much harder. Don't get into this space. I'm like, I've been in coffee for 20 years. I've been in the hardest business that you can possibly be in South Africa. I should have been selling property. I should have been in a printing company. Also hard businesses, but nothing compared to what they call a putana business. It won't even tell you what that means. Look it up. That's what coffee looks like. And energy drinks has been easy. So like yes, we've had issues. I need to be clear. There were no cans in the country. Couldn't manufacture for 2-3 months. Then there was no CO2 in the country when we got cans. You know, this is typical Africa problems that should not be happening in a first world country. It's happening because we have a terrible trading environment and these large guys do not have enough money to maintain their equipment and. So of course it has its own problems, like anything. But is it as difficult as coffee? Never. In coffee, we're up against the Bucky Brigade, against you because you've decided you're going to put Boardroom Conversations on a bag and it costs you a sticker to come to me and I'll roast Boardroom Conversations coffee for you. Your barrier to entry is a sticker to get into that thing. And you're up against Anglovol Industries, which is giving R1 million worth of equipment to a franchise guy to be able to take their stuff. The moat around the energy drink business is much bigger, much harder to break into. Your minimum quantities are much higher to get into, much higher. You need some level of understanding. I was lucky because I approached it from the way that I didn't know anything. I had to find my own co-packer. I had to find someone that could do smaller volumes with relatively lower amounts in terms of cash. I didn't even know what trading terms were. I'd phone my partner Rodney, who's been like ex-Diageo, ex-Cadbury's, like a whole bunch of stuff. I'd be like, dude, what's a trading term sheet? You know? And he'd be like, this is a trading term. Luckily, I catch on quite quickly. That's my superpower, so I won't make the same mistake again. Yeah, otherwise it becomes a choice. So, you know, I knew nothing about consumer goods. Nothing. I still don't have the contacts. I can't phone Checkers buyer tomorrow. I've had 100 people say to me, I'll link you to the Checkers buyer tomorrow. but I don't have that contact myself. I haven't been working for Kellogg's for 20 years, building my contact base with every single one of these people, jumping out of it and going, hi, Mr. Pick and Pay, hi, Checkers, hi, Spar, how you doing? Please, can I have a meeting? They give me, we have to fight for our meetings. Like, we have to fight to get in. They're like, who the hell are you? Type scenario.
Wow.
But it's been fun.
Wow, and I think it's a great segue on that note. In terms of doing business in South Africa, why South Africa?
Firstly, because I'm South African. I think that's the obvious answer, right? I don't know any different. So I've always built all my businesses here and what it looks like. I still love this country. I want to be clear. I absolutely love this country. We were in this debate just before we got here. I wish it was run better. I wish there was less corruption. I wish that BEE would get eradicated so that we can actually have some people, especially small businesses, that can grow to another level and employ more people and empower more black people so that we can get them into their own businesses and do stuff. I was saying earlier, I probably have built more black entrepreneurs than you could ever imagine into their own businesses, but I feel like I'm in a country that hates me, to be clear. But I have huge love for this country. I think that there's still massive growth in terms of there's an old saying, there's no such thing as a bad trading environment, only a bad operator. And I always use that in my head. We're in probably the toughest trading environment in the world, statistically, is the way it is. But I'd have to be a bad operator if I can't figure out a way to make that an opportunity. The second part is, it's South Africa now, world next, man. We're going to be in Slovenia first containers going out in 2 months. Dubai, we're looking at being by the end of the year. We're in negotiations in the United States, Australia, Pakistan, all of these people coming to us, like distributors, license holders, individuals, UK. So there's proper conversations happening in the background. And our margin in each one of these countries is going to be way better than the margins you have here. We have more competitors here at a cheaper price than pretty much anywhere in the world. So, we're definitely going to win at home. Do not get me wrong. We're going to win really well at home, and we're going to get our home ground advantage. But my mission is to build it global. There's no reason we can't be next to Monster on every shelf, wherever they are. Worldwide. There's no reason. We sell next to them really well wherever we are in South Africa. If it's Uzbekistan, Yugoslavia, Australia, America, our cans next to their cans will allow us to sell anywhere in the world. I can absolutely guarantee you that.
Wow, and it's on that point, in terms of going global, does Slayer Energy have any appetite for going a similar route in terms of sponsoring sports and action sports and stuff? Do you guys want to go that route, or is there another pivot that you guys want to take?
So I don't like competing with guys that have budgets that are more than I've put into the whole business, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to go into motocross and take on the guys in motocross, and they spend more on sponsoring one guy than I've put into the whole of Slayer. It doesn't make any sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick to our lane. We're going to build communities. We're going to let communities come to us. We launched to our geeks, our nerds, our people that love us. The powerlifters came to us. The bodybuilders came to us because we're sugar-free. The drift car races, because other brands have gone and sponsored them, have come to us. The Dakar outdoor rally guys have come to us. The motocross guys have come to us. I don't need to be the guy that sponsors the top guy. I need to be the guy that has such a cool brand that every youngster is chucking my sticker on his bike. That's the difference. It's going to cost me peanuts compared to what these guys do. I never say never. At some stage, could we do something with a soccer team? Yeah, we could. Could we do, granny jiu-jitsu? Yes, I'd like to do granny jiu-jitsu. In fact, I'd probably start granny jiu-jitsu. It would be a little bad and people might die, but we don't really want to go down that road, and I'm being highly facetious, but I really like the different stuff. So we'll probably play there first. And we'll see how it goes, man. The way I'm building Slayer and the way we're building Slayer is like software. So what happens with the software development business is you never build a full platform. If you do, you're an idiot. If you spend 10 million rand building this platform, you've now built it, you're like, shh, let me try turn the ignition on. It's like, it doesn't work. It's a stuff up. Or it works and my consumers hate it. Yeah. What you do is you build an MVP. A minimum viable product is what you do. And then you go to your community and your user and you let them use it and you use their feedback to build the platform. Yeah. Slayer is exactly that. No bet the farm bets on anything. Little foray, go out to the next level, see what our community thinks. Do they love it? Do they hate it? If they hate it, cut it immediately. If they love it, double down on it. That's all we need to do. We don't need to go and order 1 million cases of a particular flavor and go, ha, this is it, it's finished. Just do little incremental improvements. So I'm never going to say never. Yes, of course. I wouldn't mind seeing Slayer on a Formula One team at some stage. Yeah. That's just a little personal goal that I have, but we do know it's probably going to be 20 or 30 million dollars that I need at that stage. Yeah. So it's not a small amount of money. We're going to need to be a lot bigger than we currently are. That's more just like I can't wait to see it happen, more than having to compete with them in the space, because it's like you're going to compete with a bull in a space that they own, even though Max looks like he's leaving, which will be amazing. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question, but we do like the weird stuff. I like being in places where the other guys aren't. Wow. And no offense, this is literally like, I don't like sounding arrogant, but there's certain statements that are just out and out true. These guys can't out-creative me. It's impossible. They won't. They have a board stopping them. Their advertising agency that's going to come to them and go, the best idea you've ever heard is going to get watered down into an insignificant portion of itself by the time it's done. We are going to implement stuff that's crazy and stupid and weird and fun. And our community loves that because we live that. We live a don't give an F attitude, and that appeals to how many misfits?
Yeah, and there's so many. We're all misfits to an extent.
Everyone is a misfit.
Yeah.
You, me. I was fat as a kid, fat. I remember literally, I think I was 9 or 10. It was Bramley Primary School. It was this amazing girl. Everyone paired up for the dance, and there were 2 people left. There was myself, and I still remember her name, but I won't say it now, was the story, and she cried because she had to go to the dance with me. So at some stage, everyone feels like a misfit. It is what it is.
Yeah. And on that note, being that we're all technical misfits, if someone had to come up to you, a young person had to walk up to you today, what advice would you give to them in terms of starting a business in South Africa?
Stubbornness, stupidity, perseverance. Be stubborn, stick to your idea, listen, of course. Always listen to people that have more knowledge than you in the field, but don't always take their direction. I, as an old guy, might be burnt. If you're a new youngster and you come to me in the coffee business, I'm going to be like, if you lost your melon, don't get into the coffee business. You're going to stuff it up. You might have a million ways to improve on the coffee business about. So take advice, but be stubborn. Stupidity is exactly that. It's like when I'm listening to people and I don't know what I don't know, come up with new ideas, come up with different ways to attack the solution, to come up like there's always problems. And the single most important thing, perseverance. Outlast everyone. That's the only way you ever win. If you eliminate mistakes, I say eliminate mistakes. Make mistakes. Make as many as you can. Make them as quickly as you can. Just don't do them again. So like life, business is very much around make your mistakes quickly, fail fast. We all know that term, right? What you want to do is you want to fail fast, not make the same mistake again, iterate and grow, and out persevere. If you're in a marathon and you've never run a marathon before in your life, finish the marathon. Whether you die trying, because I've trained so many youngsters and so many individuals and so many older people in business. I've coached. I love coaching. I love teaching. If I wasn't in my own business, I'd be teaching, to be clear. Your capacity to take pain is one of the most integral things of being in your own business. If you cannot take pain in any which way, or you can't teach yourself how to take pain, don't be in your own business. Go get a job. Go do it with someone else, because when you can't pay your staff, you know how you're going to put food on the table to your family. You got your creditors phoning you and going, we want our cash now. And you don't know which way to look, because you're literally lying in your bed sucking your thumb in terms of the amount of stress that you're taking. That's when champions are made. That's when you have to double down, in my mind, through action. Too many people give up too easily. It's like, oh, I tried. Did you? Did you really try? Did you get it to a year and then it got a little bit hard and you ran away? You know? So for me, I absolutely double down on perseverance. Huh? Don't give up.
Wow, and on just a final note, the last question I want to ask you is, if there was one thing that you would never remove from your routine, what would it be?
Bliksem, man. That's quite a hard question. Hey? My life has changed a lot in the last 20 years. My routine was like 5 o'clock in the morning, go for the run, go to CrossFit, 6 o'clock, at the office, powering away, workaholic, working till all hours. It's changed now. Karen and I almost can wake up whatever time we want to. I have my dogs in the bed in the morning with me. I can train whatever time I want to. I have a very different life. I have an enviable life for most individuals. If there was one thing that I wouldn't change, it would be training. It keeps me sane. The amount of pressure that you take, the amount of stress that you take, the amount of information. I could tell you off the top of my head now what my cost price is going to be of my can, literally in the next 6 months now. Like, I could tell you my erythritol price is going to change by this much, and I'll tell you exactly what the cent value is in terms of my can cost. I'm always doing these calculations in my head. I'm always working on the business. I'm always figuring out how to market something or do something, or be like Boardroom Conversations. That's a great name for an energy drink, Like, we're always trying to figure that out. So training slows the mind down a little bit. Like, I get into the zone, I become present, a la the Buddhists, and get into the actual moment of doing something. So that's going to give me longevity in my business and my life and everything. And just the stress, it alleviates stress. So that would probably be, if I had to choose one, I'm going to train till I die. I'm almost 50, I'm 48 now. So your life also changes. In your 20s, it was benders. I can smoke whatever I want, drink whatever I want, jump off buildings, and I am unbreakable, right? Changes a little bit now. Now you start thinking about longevity. I'm like, I want to live until 80, 90 if I can, and I want to be able to deadlift something when I'm 90. So what am I going to do? I'm going to train for a little bit more muscle mass. I'm going to do more Pilates so that I can actually get a little bit more flexibility, and I am 100% going to worry about my mind, because when this thing goes, everything goes. Short answer is, I wouldn't stop training. Wow. There's lots of other routines, but I think
it's a super insightful answer, and I love the answer you gave. And focusing on our physical health is super important in running a business, a super high performing business like in the energy drink space. So I love that. I love that little nugget of wisdom. That's fantastic. And obviously you've dropped lots of nuggets of wisdom for us today. And I just want to say thank you again for coming onto the podcast and sharing your insights and sharing your story. And I'm excited to see where Slay Energy is going to go. And I wish you all the best in that.
Thank you so much for having me here, to be fair. Like, any time I can get on a podium and give a little bit of message away, it makes me very happy. I don't know. Maybe it's ego. Maybe it isn't. I don't know what the hell it is. But if I can leave like a little bit of a difference in an individual's existence in whatever way I can, or if they can take a touch of something that I said and they can apply it to their existence to improve, I've done everything I needed to do. Then I can check out and retire, right?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I really appreciate that, so thank you.
Awesome. Shut, Justin. Appreciate it.